Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Family Wealth and Other Musings. I'm your host, Becky Easton. And today I wanted to touch on one of the questions that I get frequently. How do I choose the best guardian for my children? And this one, really hits close to home to a lot of people. While I don't have children, I have, 4 nieces and a nephew that I love to pieces. And, everybody as a parent wants to make sure that if something happened to you, you would have selected the best guardian for them. You want to make sure that you've selected a guardian who is essentially as near to your parenting style as possible. You want to select someone who has that similar philosophy and style on how they discipline your children, something that's in line with what you believe and their religion or spirituality decisions that they would make. You also want to make sure that those are in line with your values as well. It's also really important to think through parenting philosophy, style, discipline, educational choices, extracurricular activities, and those decisions that you really trust a potential guardian would have to make in light of what they know you would want. And to the extent that you actually let them know ahead of time what you want, it really goes a long way to help your guardian honor you and raise your children just how you would. And we're talking about long-term guardianship here. Who would actually raise your children? Which is really a separate question from short-term guardianship, which is what happens in an emergency situation. But going back to the long-term piece, what I like to caution you about considering is assuming that the long-term guardian, if they have a lot of financial resources or they're wealthy or just relying on the fact that they've got enough money to raise your children, is being a good reason to choose them. I really never suggest that finances in and of itself is the best reason to choose a guardian, because ideally you'll be leaving enough finances and support for your children to raise them and get them through high school and ultimately college and beyond, versus having someone else foot that money and be the ones to support your children financially. It's a totally separate decision in terms of what is the best way to handle finances for children and pay for their raising, versus who can raise them as closely aligned with what you would want in terms of how they're raised. I really do think that that is the best way to choose a guardian. And if you ever have any other questions about that, naming guardians, or how to pick among people, I do end up coaching a lot of my clients to help them make decisions that are going to work for them. The one thing also that's really nice about planning is that it is flexible. It is revocable. You are able to make changes. So something that works for you today may not work for you in the future, and you are able to make those changes in estate planning like this. So if this is something that you find that you need to talk a little bit more about, I do have a free resource that's available online for you at eastonlaw.kidsprotectionplan.com. You can hop right on there and get started to take the first step in protecting your children for completely free, as you're going to be able to name long-term guardians who will be able to raise your kids in the event that you are unable to. And again, that is completely free. It's my gift resource to you. I think it's so important, especially to have something named outside your will, right? Because that is only going to work when you are dead. You do have to die for a will to work, but there are so many other reasons why you might benefit from having a guardian named for your children outside of your will. So again, that website was eastonlaw.kidsprotectionplan.com, and I encourage you to head over there and get started on that first step, name those permanent guardians, and then you can reach out to me if you're in Arizona or Colorado, or another personal family lawyer near you, in order to take the bigger steps with either the full kids protection plan or, discussing additional estate planning like wills, trusts, powers of attorney, a whole comprehensive plan that's designed to keep you and your loved ones out of court and out of conflict. So if you are in Arizona or Colorado, I encourage you to give me a call if you'd like to discuss this further with me. You can get on my calendar by calling my front desk at 480-999-4455, or you can go straight to my calendar and book 15 minutes at a time that's convenient for you at bit.ly/call Easton Law. That's bit.ly/call Easton Law. Family Wealth and Other Musings is also now available for download on almost all the platforms out there. So wherever you get your podcasts, you can find me. And a lot of this content is also available on our blog, which is at familywealthsecrets.eastonlawpllc.com. So head over there for some of this similar information and much more. And again, thanks so much for tuning in. And this has been Family Wealth and Other Musings. And I am your host, Becky Easton. Have a great day.